Let's welcome to the show Grover Norquist. Your reaction to that story?
On the long-term versus short-term spending?
Yeah, this pushing. Yeah, go ahead.
You just got to come up with the best deal you can. It depends a lot on what the president still has the ability to veto, and the Democrats still run the House and Senate. Mitch McConnell he can filibuster, so he has some say. The House right now, the Republicans have none.
Got it. So, spending is in focus now. The Supreme Court has agreed to hear another new challenge to the president's contentious $400 billion student loan bailout. It's brought by student loan borrowers who got knocked out of being eligible because their student loans are held by commercial banks, not the government. So where do you think the Supreme Court comes down on this?
Well, it's not clear at all that the president has the legitimate constitutional power to give away government property, hundreds of billions of dollars to people. And Nancy Pelosi was telling her members in the House just a year ago, there is no constitutional ability to do this, trying to tell them, cool your jets, we can't do this. It would take a vote in the House and Senate. Stop saying the president can do it. It's not true. I think the president decided, President Biden, before the election, to just announce it and perhaps buy some votes with people who go, oh, goody, I just got $10,000, $20,000 that I didn't have before, cheerfully vote for him. Now that he bought those votes, now it goes to the courts, and it probably isn't constitutional, and they probably won't be allowed to walk away with other people.
They voted for something that's not going to happen. Okay, so, this story, why is Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg flying around the U.S. on polluting private FAA jets paid for by U.S. taxpayers to lecture Americans about climate change and to do more government spending when he could do Skype or Zoom? Grover, taxpayers have to pay for him to fly to Las Vegas, Florida, New Hampshire. Many of these states are swing states to talk about more government spending. Why can't he just Skype or Zoom?
Well, you're acting as if he was one of the peasants, and you get it wrong. He's Marie Antoinette telling the peasants, let them eat cake, explaining to people that if you can't afford the high cost of gasoline, you should buy an electric car for $100,000. He really is treating the American people as if they were peasants, and he's the aristocracy. You're not allowed to fly around on private jets. He is. We saw this with John Kerry. We saw this with Al Gore. People who live in Washington, who live off the taxpayer dollar, feel entitled to your money. And what are you doing whining? They need to live comfortably. It's a lot of work to run other people's lives and tell them what to do and tell them how little energy they should use. And they should be comfortable while they're pushing us around.
But Trump's HHS Secretary Tom Price had to resign after it was revealed he was taking dozens of these private jet flights funded by the FAA, a taxpayer via the FAA. House Oversight even investigated senior Trump officials for doing it, but not the Biden White House. It just doesn't seem right, Grover. Final word.
Well, you just have to understand, those were Republicans, and it's not acceptable for Republicans to act like the aristocrats, but Democrats are allowed to, so that's the difference.
Elaine Chao investigated too, all right. They were going to stay in the story. Pete Buttigieg, nearly 20 flights on private U.S. FAA jets paid for by taxpayers when he could Skype or Zoom. Grover Norquist, you have a Merry Christmas. I know you're shaking your head. You're still upset about this. We hope you don't stay upset for the holidays, okay? Come back soon.
Well, he's just better than us. You have to understand that.
Okay, we understand it. We hear you. Thank you. Okay, we'll stay on it.